displaying numerical data is the next part. For the last set of notes, we looked at displaying categorical data. So data that doesn't really necessarily have any numerical value in it, but has an order or is nominated. Okay, and we looked at bar charts and we looked at your frequency tables. Now, when it comes to numerical data, okay, like your mean, median, mode, and data that can be counted or that is measured, okay, we can also display that kind of data. So it will be in this part of numerical data, you'll see histograms now. You also see stem and leaf and dot plots, okay? You'll also now be looking at mean, median, and mode. Okay, so shape, center, and spread, yep, that sort of thing. You also start to see box plots, quartiles, and outliers, and then you're going to be comparing them as well, okay? But for now, our focus is to just get through 2D and 2E. So you're going to do some exercises today. So let's get into 2D. Numerical data. So there's two ways of displaying numerical data. Now, numerical data also can be grouped, which means that you can put it in some sort of like range. Okay, when we're talking about grouped. And when I say range, that could be like ages between 10 to 15, 16 to 20, okay, 21 to 25. Okay, that's within a range of ages. Okay, numerical data can be grouped that way. And you'll start to see that's how histograms work when you have a range. Okay, it's different to a bar chart. Histograms and bar charts are a bit different. You might see that they're a bit similar. They do have similarities. They both have bars, but there is a slight difference between them. Okay. But frequency tables also will be used here. There is a slight difference, but still the same principles, similar way of using them, where you've still got your variable, you've got the number, and then you've got the percentage still. All right, so that's still going to be used. Cool. Also, over your mode and modal, remember what that means? Most frequent. Still going to be looking into it as well. Now, we've looked at this a couple times. I probably won't go over it too much again, but just again converting between frequency or number and percentage. Okay, just understand how we've changed between either of them. All right, and you can use those formulas. Otherwise, you can also use the ones that I've put in the previous part of these notes. All right, so let's look at this example here. Here's a number of floors in a collection of apartment buildings they're recorded. The results are given below. Okay. Question 1 is, or question A, construct a table showing the frequencies and frequencies of numbers of floors. Round the percentages to 1 decimal place. Okay, a little bit tricky there's a lot of wording in there, okay, but what we're trying to do here is construct this. I'll put it in a frequency table, okay, but now we've got ranges. Okay, this is going to be slightly different in the way that we show this. So firstly, for a frequency table, let's start with that. We already know what that looks like. So let's start by drawing our frequency tables. So follow me along, draw your frequency table. Okay, and let's say, and we got totals on the bottom. So okay, so that this doesn't get too confusing, okay, let's look at, let's write I want you to actually write it like I am right now, because this can be a bit confusing at some point. Now, if you look at the data, you can see that it ranges between 2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 floors, okay? What we will do here, in terms of putting this into a frequency table, is you're just going to put the different variables in there. So you've got a variable for, let me write that here, hopefully it's big enough, 2 floors. Then you've got a variable for 3 floors. So you want to split it up like this. So next you've got 3 floors. Then next you've got 4, 6, and 7. Okay, I might have to make it a bit longer. Maybe include. Actually, I'm going to include one more thing there. Sorry, guys. let's include 5 floors, even though it's not in there. I should have made this a bit bigger, hey. 7 floors. And then total in the bottom, okay? Make sure you include all of this. Now, you might be wondering, why did I include 5 floors in there, even though there's no 5 in there, okay? And you'll see why. Because when you put this in because it asks us in a question to put a histogram. When you put it in histogram, you can't skip numbers, okay, when it comes to histograms, okay? So let's put this in the frequency table now. So 2 floors, how many do we have, guys? Anyone know? 2, good. 3 floors, how many? 5. How many for 4 floors? 3. How many for 5 floors? 0, good. How many for 6? 4. And how many for 7? There's 2, okay? And in total, how many do we have? 16? I'm going to trust you on that. 16, yeah? Okay, now let's do the percentages, okay? So 2 divided by 16. Let's do that. 2 divided by 16. Oops. Times 100. 12.5. Yeah, let's do 1 decimal for these ones. Sorry, what was that?
So it's just like 1/8.
1/8. It is 1/8, which is 12.5. 5 divided by 16. Thank you for that, Fahad. Or 31 point. We'll go 31.3. 3 divided by 16. We'll go 18.8. If you notice, I'm already skipping the times 100 because you can already see if you times that number by 100, it's just the decimal point is going to move here. So that's how I'm sort of visualizing it now. That'll be 0. 4 divided by 16, that should be
25.
a quarter. So 25%. Well, let me just double check. 4 divided by, yep. And then it should be 12.5 again. And technically, if you add all this up, it should equal 100%.
You're at 18.8 and 1 equal 100.
Yeah, so that means there's some rounding, some funny roundings that we have to do. What you find if that is the case, okay, because we may have not rounded or may have rounded some of the numbers, it may be like 99.8 or something, or 100.1, and that's okay. Okay, it's not a big deal. Okay, next thing is, so we've done our frequency table. Let's draw the histogram. Okay, so part B. Histogram, okay? Now with the histogram, it says here you want the frequencies. So you don't want the percentage, you just want the frequency. So be mindful of what it wants in your histogram. Now you'll find that the histogram for grouped or numerical data is a bit different to categorical data, okay? Down here we'll put the floors, okay? And here we'll put the frequency. And I can see for the frequency, it ranges between 0 and up to 5. So you don't have to actually put up to 10. I might just go up to the number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that's my that's the highest it'll go is up to 5 anyway. So you don't have to include. You don't have to include every single number. And in terms of floors, okay, this one is a bit tricky in the way that these histograms work. But for now, we'll just do this. Okay, so you've got 2 floors, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 7. Okay. All right. So now, when it comes to histograms, one thing you have to remember is that when it asks you to draw a histogram, you can't have gaps between the bars. The bars have to be together, okay? So for example here, I'm gonna, for 2 floors, all right, it's gonna go up to 2, so our bar will go up to 2 here. Okay, for 3 floors, our bar will go up to 5, so 5 is here. Okay, and then for 4 floors, we've got 3. So it'll go up to the 3 bar. For 5 floors, there's none, so leave that blank. For 6 floors, it goes up to 4, so that will go over here. You'll notice that the only gap we have here is basically where 5 is, because there's none for 5. And then for 7 floors, sorry, that's a horrendous bar. For 7 floors, we have 2, so 2. And there's our histogram. Notice again that there's no gaps when it comes to the histogram. Okay, just keep that in mind. In Year 12, they're really pedantic about it. And it's, it's quite, if you make an error like that, you lose like a lot of marks already. So just be mindful. Histogram, no gaps. Bar chart, there is gaps. Part C, we've already sort of answered that. What's percentage of pilot buildings? Less than 4. So if you're looking at fewer than 4, you're not including 4, yeah? Less than 4 would be these two. So that would be 12.5 plus 31.3, which equals 43.8%. All right, so that's nice and easy. Okay, all right, now, do people have their CAS calculators? So let's get your CAS calculator out, because I'm going to show you guys how to do the next question now. Actually, it's right. Oh, it does it for us. Lovely. I didn't know it was there, so we could have drawn it in there. But get your CAS calculators out, and we will go through how we put this in a CAS calculator. So your calculator, normally if you start off, your window will look like this. Okay. If you want to use some shortcuts, there are shortcuts towards the bottom there, so down here. But we won't use that for now. So what I want you to do is go to number 1, or press the number 1, and we'll go to new right there. So if you press 1, it'll open that for you. All right, what we'll go from here first is let's actually look at what are the different options we have. We have calculators, graphs, we can do geometry, lists and spreadsheets, data and stats, so on and so forth. Just for year 11, you'll find that you'll use mostly data and stats, lists and spreadsheets, and then number 1. So it's literally just 1, 4, or 5. That's what you use. Okay, so let's go to number 4, data and lists and spreadsheets. And it should open this up. This is like an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, you can put data in there and it'll do stuff for you. I don't know if you guys know, in Excel, you can actually like make formulas in it, and then you can derive different bits of data. Now, normally what you want to do when you do this, when you are putting data in a calculator, is you always have to label the column first. So when I say column, it's basically these. Okay, so make sure you label it, because if you don't, you're not going to be able to use it. So go to the A column at the very top. Okay, and looking at our data here, it's using, we're looking at number of floors or collection of floors in an apartment building. So you can literally name it whatever you want. For this instance, I'll call it floors. So F-L-O-O, where's R? R-S, okay? Floors. And then you press enter. And then from there, you can start putting your numbers in. So if you look at your numbers, let's see. You've got 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, yeah, all so on and so forth. So you put your numbers in. 2, 2, I'm pressing enter to put the number in, basically. And then 3, 3, 3, and you put your numbers in. Okay, so put them all in. There should be, 16 numbers according to Tori. So 16 numbers altogether in here. So I'm going to close this and open up my own, because I actually did this before. Here's one I prepared earlier. Okay, so you'll find how interesting or how useful this tool is for us. The only thing I find really annoying is that the keyboard is not like a typical keyboard, the layout. It's really annoying. All right, we got our numbers. Got them all? Okay, good. So you want to make sure you get all the numbers correct, because if you get even one number wrong, the data is going to be wrong, okay? All right, so there's my data. Okay, it looks nice. I've got it. Double check your numbers, make sure it's all there. So from there, now we go menu. Oh, sorry, not menu. Control I, my bad. Control I. If for whatever reason you can't get there, okay, or you've pressed menu, if you've opened that, you want to get out of it, just press escape. Okay, it'll close it. But Control I, and when you press Control I, it'll open a new window, and it comes to this. So now we go data and statistics, so number 5. Let's press the number 5, and you'll just get a bunch of dots. Okay, and this is not a bad thing. If it doesn't look like this, that's okay. It's just a random anyway at the moment. And now the reason why you want to label your data is because if you do this, if you haven't labeled it, there's going to be no dots in there. And if you click down here where it says click to add variable, that's where we look for the variable you want to add. So we made the variable floors, which we got from here, floors. Okay, so what you want to do, or what you're telling the calculator to do is, I want you to organize the dots into floors. So click on floors. Now it's moved it into, or it's grouped it. Okay, so you've got 2 2s, you've got 5 3s, you've got 4 of the 4s, so on and so forth. Remember, 5s have nothing, so that's why it's blank. So you should have a bunch of random dots lined up. Now you go menu, plot type. Okay, and what that does is you can change it into box plot, histogram, whatever type of data you want. So let's go histogram. And technically, ours should look like that. Now, granted that the way that this is laid out is a bit different to ours because of the numbers. Okay, but more or less it's the same as what we have here. Let's see if this works. Okay, it's more or less the same in here. Okay, but when we get into actual grouped data, you'll see that the numbers have to be laid out like this. But for this example that we did here, it's just slightly different because it's not quite, the data isn't actually grouped in this case. Okay, but there is how you do a histogram. You can actually change this as well to a box plot if you wanted to.
What do you press for that?
Menu. So you get menu, plot type, and you can change it to different types of plots. And this essentially does all the work for you. You just literally, once you do this, just copy it into your book and that's it. Okay, but obviously be mindful of some of the numbers and the way things are laid out. But that's why it's useful to have a CAS, because this takes like 20 years to do by hand, but on the CAS, it just does it for you. Okay, so make sure you have one ASAP. But if you want to go through that again, we can with the next question. Okay, let's go to the next question and we'll go through it again. Okay, now this one's a bit different because it's going to be grouped data. All right, so now we're looking at the heights of a group of athletes and they're recorded in this table below. Yep, so you've got a range of heights. First question is construct a table, a frequency table showing the percentage frequencies and the frequencies obviously in intervals width of 5 starting at 170. Okay, sounds a bit crazy, okay, but be mindful of these two numbers. Interval widths of 5 centimeters starting at 70. Okay, so what you want to do is start with your frequency table. You know what I will do though? Just maybe do it like this first because we don't know exactly how much space we're going to take to do this. So just draw it like that for now. Make sure you've got your 3 columns though. So you've got your categories or whatever it is. Let's call it heights. This is the frequency. And this is the percentage. Okay, let's put it in. So this is for part A. Now, when it says construct a table using intervals of 5 starting at 170, what do you guys think that means? Intervals of 5 starting at 170. Anyone know? Kind of, yeah. Sort of. You're kind of on the right track. I like that though. Yep.
It's like 170 to 175, I mean 176 to...
Very close, okay, but you don't include the 175, okay? It's going to be 170 to 174, 175 to 179, 180 to 184. The reason why is if you think about it, intervals of 5, yeah, you want 5 values in that interval. So you have 170, 171, 172, 173, 174. See how that's 5 values? So that means your range is going to be like this, 170 to 174. Okay, that's the first one. Next one will be 175 to 179. That'll be the second one. The next range, and this goes up to, what does this go up to? 202. So we're going to go up to 205. Thank you, Fahad. 180 to 184. and then you can probably fill out the rest of it. So 185 to 189. Making sure, again, that you include all the relevant intervals in here. So 190 to 194. Funny, interestingly enough, for the last interval, you can actually go 200 to 205, okay? Because, yeah, normally in most textbooks, that's how they do write it in the end. You can actually go all the way there, but that's here or there. And then obviously in the very bottom, put your totals. All right, now let's look at the frequencies. So this, again, the way you do this might vary from person to person, but just make sure that you don't skip any numbers. That's the trickiest part. So let's go from 170 to 174. I can see that we have, okay, we've got one, and correct me if I miss anything. Is it just the one? I think it might just be the one. Yeah. Yes, it would be just the one. There's one. 175 to 179. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, and just the 4, I would say. So 4 there. 4 between that range. 180 to 184. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just the 5. And notice how I'm crossing the numbers out as I go, so I know that I've put it in the numbers. 185 to 189. So you've got 1, 2, just the 2, I think. 190 to 194. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 195 to 199. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 as well. And then 200 to 205. So you've got 1, 2, 3. And I think I got all the numbers. Okay, that should be all of them. All right, so now we do the total. So you've got 1 plus 4 is 5, 10, 12, 17, 22, 25. So the total should be 25. And then now we do the percentage frequencies, all right? Let's put this here. I'm sorry. Let's open up the calculator. All right, so now we do this. So we've got 1 divided by 25. It should be 0.04.
You just multiply the number by 4.
Multiply the number by 4 to get the...
Because it's 25, so it should make it 100.
Right.
Or, yeah, but... Oh, yeah, my bad. Sorry.
So it'd be 4%.
Yeah. Is that something you learnt in extended? So this would be 16?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's test that. 4 divided by 25 times 100. Oh, very nice, Fahad. Nice shortcut. 20, 8, 20, 20, 12. And then if you add it all up, it should technically equal 100%. Technically. Okay. All right, cool. Thank you, Fahad. I like that shortcut. All right, next is we draw the histogram. Now, the annoying thing is if you were to do all of this by hand, and which we are doing now, it does take a while. And this is why you have a CAS calculator. Because if you do have one, this takes you like from doing it for 20 minutes or 10 minutes to like just a couple minutes. Because most of the time, the hardest part is just putting those numbers into your calculator. Okay, so let's do that. I want you to get your CAS out now. We're going to do the histogram on our calculator, and then we're just going to copy that because it's just a lot quicker. So on your CAS, same thing. Okay, go new document, Open list and spreadsheet. Sorry. Fahad gave us a shortcut, Huckton. Just multiply all those numbers by 4 to get the percentages. Okay, I want you to put all those numbers again in your lists and spreadsheets. Remember, label the column. In this case, I think I've labeled mine heights, and I did this earlier. GHTS. Oh, height, just height. Okay, call it heights, and then put the numbers in. Okay, because I did this earlier already. So label it heights. Make sure you don't skip on any numbers. Label it accordingly. Yep, put every single number in.
In order.
It doesn't have to be in order. The calculator will do it for you. The magic of technology. Okay, but there's the heights. Put it in. And you guys already sort of know how to do it from there. If you put that, I'll just wait for you guys. Put the numbers in. And again, this takes literally like a few minutes to do as opposed to drawing it by hand. The only thing that that's different here is we have to be mindful of the intervals. Okay, and I'll show you guys how to do that here. Just let me know when you're ready. Cool. So once we've done this, we'll go and do the questions. All right, all right, everyone done? Slower than my grandma. And she doesn't even know how to use a CAS. Oops, sorry. Just double check your numbers. Make sure you've got, I think it was 25. Yep, 25. Okay, cool. Ready, guys? Okay, so you've got your numbers. Well done. Now we go Control I. Okay, make sure you label that column or else it's not going to work. I've called mine heights. Okay, Control I, data and stats. I'm just going to get a random scatter plot. On the bottom, click on that variable. Now click on the variable you want to display. In this case, I want to show heights. Okay, and then from there, you want to make this into a histogram. So you go menu, okay, plot type. And then you go, box plot, not histogram, not box plot. So histogram. Now, this isn't quite correct yet. Does anyone know why? Anyone know why this isn't right? Look at our frequency table, okay? What have we done with our heights on the left? What did we do with it? We've grouped it, right? So 170 to 174, 175 onwards. This is not grouped yet, so you cannot draw this just yet. Now, in order to fix that, what you need to do, let's see if I can do this here. Okay. The funky thing with this one is I have to leave my cursor on here. Nope. Do it here like this. Okay. So what you do is put your cursor here, go menu. Nope. Okay. Okay, there you go. Menu. Oh, sorry, control menu, my bad. Okay, and you should have a menu like this, control menu. Then we go bin settings. Okay, and I'll do this again. So to get that, just put your cursor there somewhere, press control, and then menu. And then go bin settings. Okay, and then go equal bin width. Okay, everyone with me so far? Click on that. Okay, now you get this. So you just understand what this means. Width refers to the intervals. So the interval that we had here was intervals of 5. So you put intervals of 5. Alignment refers to where it starts. And we started at the number 170.
Why? How do you do that?
How do I get to this?
Yeah.
Okay, so press control, then menu.
Nothing comes out.
Okay, make sure your cursor is in the middle here.
Yeah.
Control menu.
Yeah. And then?
And then go bin width, which is number 5.
Bin setting it says.
Yeah, bin settings, sorry. And then go to the first one, equal bin width.
Yeah.
Alignment is where it starts. Width is the interval. So 170. Okay, you're going to go okay. Cool. And now from there, it looks a bit funny still. That's okay. Press menu and then go window zoom and then just click zoom data and it'll zoom out for you. And there is our histogram. This is the histogram that we want to draw because you can see, okay, now the data is being grouped properly and it's all in its proper spot. So this is the exact histogram, not Instagram, sorry, histogram that you want to draw. Okay, that we'll put in here. Draw yours here, please, though. So in terms of drawing it, let me pull it up. Okay, draw your histogram here. Okay, so just copy as you see on your calculator. Because this one is okay, shouldn't be any issues. So 170 to 175 should be 1. Draw it. And then 175 to 180 goes up to 4. And then 180 to 185 goes up to 5. 185, 190 goes 2. 190 to 195 is 5. That's also 5. And the last one is 3. Don't have to color it, but I'm coloring it so it's a lot more obvious to see. Okay, so that's what our histogram will look like. And again, this whole process doesn't take you that long if you have a CAS. So it's a lot better if you have a CAS on you, as it makes it a lot easier to do. Okay. Does anyone have any questions on how to get to this again? If I were you, I'm going to put these recordings up so you can watch it and see how to do it. All right, let's do the last question, part C. What percentage of the athletes were taller than 185? So that's really easy. How many were taller than 185? So you're looking at these numbers here. Just add them up. 8 plus 20 plus 20, that equals 60. So 60%. And that's just from adding 1, 2, 3. Okay, putting all that together. All right.